Hi and welcome back to the garden. In this video I'm going to show you what to do when your pelargoniums start to grow like this. So they're getting all that legginess and there's a lot of big open space in the middle. And I'm also going to show you how to take pelargonium cuttings. This pelargonium is one called concolor lace, and it has the most beautiful pale pinky kind of red flowers throughout the summer. This was actually a cutting that we did of the parent plant which we bought, and unfortunately it has grown a little bit on the leggy side. So as you can see, you've got a lot of these branches and it's not looking the most attractive plant in the world. So it does need some attention. So what I'm going to show you in this video is how to revitalize it and also how to take some cuttings from the bits that we chop away. So this has been growing indoors all through the autumn and the winter, and up until now this hasn't seen the light of the outside day. It's been left on our hall window ledge and it does get a lot of sun there, but it's got a very lax habit now, and what we need to be doing now is giving it a bit of TLC and trying to make it a bit more compact. So first I need to point out that the good thing about pelargoniums is they do regenerate, and if you can see from the middle of the plant you can start to see lots and lots of new shoots beginning to come out, and that's a good sign that there's life emerging from those stems down inside the center of the plant. So what I'm going to do then, this is going to be really harsh and some people may cringe, but believe me, this won't do it any harm, and what it will do is actually help the plant in the long run, because if these keep growing bigger and bigger, particularly when these start flowering, it's going to end up with a lot of weight, and before long you're going to have no middle and it's just going to be like a trailing plant, and that's not the way that I want to grow it. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking for quite low growth on the plant, and I'm just going to be quite drastic, and I'm going to chop just above where I can see the growth. So I'm doing this all the way around. I'm just looking for where the growth is, and I'm just going to chop just above where it is. Just like that. And don't worry, we're going to make cuttings from all this material, so we're not going to waste any of it. And I'm going to take this one down fairly low. There you go. Now yes, that is very drastic, but within a matter of weeks it will regrow and we'll start to have a nice, more compact, bushy plant. So this one was done earlier in the spring, and judging by the top growth it would look as if we had have lost it. It did look that way, but by chopping off all that dead growth, the new growth has emerged and we have a brand new regenerated pelargonium, which is beautiful. And the scent from these scented pelargoniums, oh, just divine. So that's what we're aiming for. So that may look quite drastic, but believe me, it will regrow and turn into that. And hopefully at some point during the summer we will get flowers. But what I'm also going to point out now is, just to give that a helping hand, I'm using a little bit of houseplant food. So I have used Baby Bio since being a teenager at home with houseplants. So I really do trust this brand and I do recommend it. So I've just got half a pint of water, and it says on the back to between 5 and 10 drops for every pint. So I'm just going to put 5 drops in this water. 5, one for good measure. And then what I'll do is just give that a little bit of a mix. Give it a nice drink with all that lovely food. Let it percolate down. and that will just make sure that this plant has enough energy and strength to keep growing and get all these lovely shoots as quick as possible to form. So I'm going to put that to one side. And now we can go on to the cuttings. So for this, a couple of terracotta pots. Now terracotta is the best for pelargoniums. It is porous, and it does mean that the moisture is not being held too long within the plant, because these plants like sharp drainage. So with all the top growth cut away, I've got a lovely mix of gritty compost. Now I do suggest you do add grit or perlite to your compost to make it more free draining, because that is the kind of conditions that pelargoniums like. They don't want to have stagnant water around the roots. And literally I'm just going to fill 2 of these up. I may possibly need a third, but we'll see. And then let's take the material. So we don't like to waste anything on this channel, in this garden. So what I'm going to be doing is just making some cuttings of this top growth. So potentially within each piece we've got 2 potential cuttings. We've got a potential cutting from the top bit, and if you can see on this one, if I just bend that out a little bit, we've also got a side shoot, which is this one here, and that potentially could be a cutting as well. So I'm just going to see how many I can fit in these 2 pots to begin with. Some trusty rooting powder, because that does aid the process. So firstly, I'm just going to snip away some of the growth, and let's look for, we're looking for a tip basically. So if we just strip some of these leaves off, we can begin to see the stem in better detail. So I'm taking a lot of these leaves off to the point where you're just really left with a bit of a stub at the top. And then what I'm going to do is just chop about there. And the good thing is, when you're chopping off the leaves, these are lovely put in hot water, so make a nice pelargonium tea from these. So I'm going to put these to one side, give them a wash, and put them in some hot water for a nice refreshing drink. So that's your cutting that you're looking for, that kind of size. And then with some hormone rooting powder, get your container and just pop that in along the edge, just firming around. And then that little piece as well that I said you can also make a cutting from, I'm just going to trim a little bit of the stem that it was growing from. Remove those lower leaves. Into some hormone rooting powder. And along the side of the pot. And you just want to place them just so where that point of growth is, it's just slightly above where the soil level is. So on this one, let's take away all of those leaves. Put them to one side. And there are some beautifully scented pelargoniums. I was in the garden centre just at the weekend, and there was a cola scented one. Oh my goodness, the scent, it really did smell like a cola drink. And I was very tempted to buy it, but I knew that I'd be making more plants from this one. So I decided that I'll wait a bit longer, because we do need to have a bit more space. But it was very tempting, and who knows, next time we go I'll probably end up buying it, because that scent was beautiful. So pop them around the edge, firming them in as you go. So this has many potentials for cuttings. See, that's one there. Got all that stem which we can cut away. And once you start to remove the leaves, you can then begin to see the stem itself, and then you'll be able to know where we go in with the cuts. So with this we just need to make sure we take off most of the leaves, just leaving just a few to form there, and just cut it if you can find a bit of a leaf node. So I mean, it's very difficult because there's leaf nodes growing all over the stem, so it doesn't matter too much. About that kind of length is more than adequate. Hormone rooting powder, and in it pops. These do root readily, so you generally find that if you do take maybe 10, you're at least going to get perhaps 8, possibly 9, and if you're lucky you may even get the whole 10 growing. That's quite a small one, that one. So again, remove all these leaves. I'm going to have some lovely tea later on with all these, I can tell you. So you're looking at something like that, a little bit bendy. Give it a chop. Go a bit lower on that one actually. Bit of hormone rooting powder. I'm going to put that one right in the centre. See if we can get a maximum amount of cuttings in here. A bit more compost around it. And I think the weather outside has finally decided that it's almost summer, so we're now getting some lovely days, lovely sunshiny days, which is what we all want, so we can get out and enjoy the garden, relax in the garden, do any pottering you need to be doing. But it's so much better when the sun's shining as opposed to when it's not. It just makes you want to go out. And that pops. And then last one. So I only need one pot actually. So that's the kind of cutting size, a couple of inches, and in we go into that pot. Then moving down, so I can collect all my leaves over that side, and all the debris can go over there. So that is my little pot of Pelargonium cuttings Concolor lace, and I just need to write a label so I can record when the cuttings were taken. So I'll pop that in there amongst them, and we just need a little bit of water. Give it a nice little drink. Allow that water to drain through the bottom. Now the most important thing to mention at this point is normally when you see me do cuttings, you'll see me placing a polythene bag over the top. With Pelargoniums, that's not really advisable. You don't want these to rot, and if you put a bag over the top, because of the way these are, because these are quite they love to have the dryness. If you put these in this container with a bag over the top, more than likely these cuttings are going to rot. So what I'm going to do is place these on a window ledge, so back on the window ledge where the parent plant will go. I'll place these on there. It does get a bit of sunshine, but it's not direct, and I will just make sure, just by tapping the top of the surface of the compost, just pushing my finger down a little bit, and just make sure they don't dry out. But because there's so much grit in these, and because we do have a terracotta pot, it does mean that the drainage should be sharp, and we'll get to have all that water that we're watering with coming through the base and not sitting around the roots too much. So in this process I've got 8 potential new pelargonium plants. If you remember, this doesn't look fantastic at the moment, but I will update you on a further video at some point to show you that these do grow back. And like I've already shown you, this one is exactly the same plant, same variety plant. This was cut back and this has grown, and I'm hoping that with a bit of feed, so the same feed that I've used before on that plant, we'll be able to get some flowers this summer. And in a few weeks time, this can go outside and enjoy the summer in the outdoors. And I'll be bringing these in before the frost comes, before the cold weather comes in the autumn, just to make sure that we don't lose them through any bad weather. So I do hope you found this video enjoyable and informative. Please give me a like. Please subscribe if you've not already done so. It is completely free. Please drop any comments you have about this in the comments box below the video, as always. And we will see you very, very soon on the next video. In the meantime, please do take care and please do enjoy your garden. Thank you for watching.